Hello everybody, Jose Rodriguez back again, and as I promised you last week, we have a new version of Print Prism available. I am going to walk you through the paces of this new version. Basically, it is a slight improvement over the previous one. There are some new options that you can choose and adjust to your liking. What he discovered was that if you pause your scanning process between scans, let's just say you're doing a triple scan, do that first scan and then pause, let the scanner cool off, do the second scan and then pause, do the third scan and then pause again. Well, now you can adjust the length of that pause, and you can actually tell it to scan it up to 5 times. Now there'll be some cases where apparently if the image had any bit of noise, digital noise, the triple, quadruple, quintuple passes will tend to eliminate that problem. And so then the software will have an easier time examining the results of each one of those little squares. This especially comes into play with papers with a slight texture possibly. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick look at it. Back in a second. Okay, so here we are. The new version is 2026.140. And you might ask yourself, well, it looks pretty much the same. Well, the difference is right here. We have 5 passes, or single pass, second pass, third pass, fourth, and fifth. Originally, we were doing a single pass and immediately you're done. Now, due to the increase in accuracy or the ability to capture, I don't know even how to put it, by doing a multiple pass scan, apparently the results are just better. And I do not know really the technical secrets behind this. Maybe we can have Mike Cheney come up one of these Sundays and explain it all to us. But you know what? I always want the max, so I'm going to push it to 5. And I'm not sure whether I have to let it rest for a whole 60 seconds or 30 seconds or 20 seconds or even 10 seconds. But I'm going to go ahead and choose 20 just for the heck of it. Now, I am running right now on my scanner. I have loaded a set of color patches that I printed on Polar Gloss Metallic from Red River. So we'll go ahead and run that. I'm going to go ahead and begin the scan now. I am going to let you go through the whole process so you get an idea how long this takes to accomplish. So it is doing the first pass at this very moment. Once it is done with that, it will pause for 20 seconds. I have chosen that length right here. And it cools the sensor between passes. I think 20 seconds is probably more than enough. It depends on the scanner. So it is counting down the cooling process. Once it is done, it'll perform the second scan and so on. And we can just kick back, have a drink. And again, remember, this takes, oh gosh, maybe 10 to 20 times longer to perform with a real spectrophotometer. You have to scan each row of those color patches you printed. Depending on the brand and the company that you are using a spectrophotometer from, the set of patches, that chart that you print, will be configured slightly different. And so you have to have some sort of jig, a device that allows you to run that spectrophotometer across each one of those rows accurately so you don't accidentally move over to the next row. So X-Rite provides you that with the so-called i1 Pro 2 that I own. But again, it takes me, I would say, 5-6 seconds per row. And if I'm doing a 3-sheet total 1600 patch chart, it's going to take me a good number of minutes. This might actually take me, let's see, 20 seconds times 5. That would be 100 seconds. So let's just say a minute and a half-ish. And then the passes take about, again, 10 seconds each. So that's another minute. That's 3 minutes to do this. And then the creation of the profile takes a lot less than one created with an actual software for one of these spectrophotometers. So I'm just kicking back right now, chatting with you guys while this is being performed. It is cooling down again, and it's going to go ahead and finish the last set. Okay, once it is done with the last one, it is done. As I said, I already did this, so I do have an existing file already done, but I'm just going to go ahead and proceed with the whole process so you can see exactly what takes place. So I'm going to look for that. So this was the gloss metallic right here from Red River 8550. I'm going to save it over that one, overwrite it, and now it's going to locate the corners. What I just clicked on a second ago was to add it to my output printer profile list, and let's go ahead and identify those corners. Notice the little red angle finder here. That locates each corner. There's one down here as well, and one on the lower right side and one on the upper right side. And every one of those little squares, like 9,000 of them, has a detection marker right in the center area. That means it is a selection. It is actually going to read only the color that is within that little white square. So the more centered you have it, more accurate will be the actual creation of that profile. So it is looking at every one of these and it's determining, well, it should have been this color, but your printer produced this rendition of that color. By printing it with no color management in the driver, no color management in the printing application. So totally raw. In QImage, you simply choose off, OFF. And that's it. That's all there is to it. We can go ahead and create the profile. Had I not been talking, this would have been done a lot faster. Now we just kick back and wait. Down here will be the progression bar for the profile creation. It has to look, like I said, over 9,000 of these values that the printer produced, determine the amount of error, and compensate for that amount of error for each one of those little patches. Then it compiles all that together into an ICC profile. That profile, when you then use it to print something, will apply all of those corrections. This time, however, you will be printing with the driver, color management turned off, but using the profile that we just created. And we'll take a look at that, make sure that it is in the correct folder once this is done creating that profile. So let's just kick back and wait for it to finish. That's it. It took a few minutes to finish. Again, a lot quicker than manually doing this yourself. And people may ask, well, is it as accurate? Well, people are claiming that it is indeed as accurate, if not better. So for a total of your existing 8550 you may already own and $35 for the software, you can create your own ICC profiles. Why is that so important? Well, my 8550 is one of a batch of I don't know how many thousands. These printers are mass produced. They cannot, and I emphasize, cannot be guaranteed to output identical levels of accuracy. whatever that level that the engineers have set. It has to fit between a margin of error. So if all of the thousands of printers that are created in one batch are within that margin of error, they are then released to the public. That doesn't mean they output identical. That means they output good enough. And good enough is never good enough for us. So I make a profile for my individual unit, one of thousands. That way, the profile, it is specific to my printer. It may not be as accurate if I give it to you, who also owns another 8550. Had I been printing my charts on my Pro 1000 or 1100, I can internally calibrate that printer. So from the very get-go, I can bring those printers to a factory standard. But I cannot do that with an 8550 or any of the other many Epson and Canon printers that have a built-in scanner for which you can then use this amazing software for the creation of your own profiles. And they will all be individualized for your actual printer, your actual batch of paper. I even made a profile for copy paper, and it worked. I printed color images on copy paper, and they were accurate. Imagine that. Who would do that? Well, I accidentally did that, so I have to admit that. But anyway, so here we are. We are now done. I would then go ahead and open up QImage, choose an image, choose the same paper that I created that chart with, and print on it using the profile I just created. Let's take a look and see if we actually have that profile in our folder. Okay, so here I am. This is a shortcut to my color folder inside Windows, and there it is, Polar Gloss Metallic. And that was created on the 6th of April 2026 at 12:38 in the afternoon. Done. So if you haven't done so yet, and you would love to have your own custom-made ICC profiles for whatever media you happen to be using, consider buying for $35 the ability for you with your printer that has a built-in scanner to create your own custom profiles. Yeah, your results are going to be amazing. Join us this coming weekend for more demonstrations. I have a ton of charts that I'm going to rescan so that every bit of accuracy that this new version can provide you will be incorporated in all my previous profiles that I created. Yes, I am that picky. All right, so thank you so much again. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Click on that bell. And by the way, please like the actual video in YouTube and also leave a comment. Once you do that, you'll be able to hype my video. So let's see what that does to, I don't know what. It might make it more popular, who knows. But please do that. All right, that's enough. Happy Easter again, and we'll see you on this Sunday.